Former Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has announced that she plans to return to Bangladesh this December, despite saying that she could be arrested or even killed upon arrival. Speaking from exile in India, Hasina said she intends to surrender before the courts and face the legal process, adding that she wants to die on her own soil if it comes to that. Her statement comes months after Bangladesh's International Crimes Tribunal sentenced her to death over crimes against humanity linked to the deadly crackdown in the 2024 student-led protests that ultimately forced her out of power. Hasina, who has been living in India since August 2024, accused the current regime of targeting Awami League leaders and workers, but insisted that she would return voluntarily. The announcement is expected to intensify political tensions in Bangladesh, where her proposed return could trigger major legal and security developments in the months ahead. And to talk about that, we have our managing editor Kartikeya Sharma now joining us on the broadcast. Kartikeya, thank you for taking time out in your busy schedule to help us understand this. Tell us, what is this going to mean? You clear there's going to be upheaval, but if you can break it down in terms of what are the possibilities that can play out.
I think, the reason why Sheikh Hasina has decided to return is because, one, the time is not on her side. Second, if she continues to stay here, the Awami League will become irrelevant. Third, if Sheikh Hasina does not go back within this time frame, and once the BNP goes out of power, or even more hardline party comes into power in Bangladesh, which maybe I would say in future is Jamaat-e-Islami, or the student, agglomeration of the, various student unions who actually led this so-called, I would say, I don't use the word revolution, took place in Bangladesh. I say that it was a coup organized by the Western powers to destabilize certain equations in South Asia. So maybe they can come to power. That will become very next to impossible for Sheikh Hasina to return, because Sheikh Hasina's family is not in politics. When it came to BNP, Begum's son was already in politics. Begum Zia was Prime Minister 2 decades ago. Then the current Prime Minister, Begum's son, was a very influential figure. In fact, he had to leave and stay in London for a decade because, he used to be called the Dark Tsar of Dhaka. And Dark Tsar, why? Because, he had the same image that Zardari came to enjoy in Pakistan, like Mr. 10%. But that is history. Zardari could never come back to power. He's the Prime Minister of Bangladesh. But for Sheikh Hasina, if she comes back, I think 2 or 3 things are in play. Because there are people who want to hang her. And they have created an atmosphere. But if she has some sort of a guarantee that she is allowed a level playing field, and the party members will not be persecuted, it will create a space for those who are opposed to the sort of politics which Jamaat is doing. And please understand, I spoke to a lot of people, Krishna, when Sheikh Hasina left Bangladesh, she was told by the intelligence, and I'm not going to name the country, that you got to be alive to have a fighting chance to come back.
Yeah.
Sheikh Hasina was very reluctant to leave Dhaka, but she was told that you should be alive to fight back. And I think Sheikh Hasina took that advice. And it is for this reason she is deciding to go back. Now, it will come with some fundamental guarantees, Krishna.
Okay.
And those fundamental guarantees would be right to life.
Absolutely. Fundamental guarantees of life, right to life. For all those tuning into this broadcast, the big story that we're tracking at this hour is former Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has indeed announced that she does plan to return to Bangladesh as soon as the month of December. And that is despite saying that she could be arrested or even killed upon arrival. I mean, Kartikeya, she clearly knows what awaits her. Even if she's not arrested or killed upon arrival, she will have to face that trial, a trial loaded against her in favor of the Bangladeshi government.
See, the civil administration is loaded against her. There is a rift within the Bangladeshi army. If you look the picture of the chief of the army staff, now you can see him with a beard. A year ago, he was a clean-shaven man. These are small hints that he is also playing to the gallery. Secondly, the fundamentalist, I would say, DNA within the Bangladeshi politics has been part of the politics of even or the colonial Bengal. I'll give you an example, Krishna. You know, generally Sheikh Mujibur Rahman is seen only from the prism of the 1971 liberation. But Sheikh Mujibur Rahman was number 2 in Muslim League when the great massacre took place a year before the partition. The great Calcutta killing took place and Sheikh Mujibur Rahman was number 2 to Sohrawardi. But that history is not talked about because, you know, we have recasted Sheikh Mujibur Rahman as father of Bangladesh, who stood for secular Bangladesh. But if you look at the constitution of Bangladesh, it has been bastardized. You know, the religious idioms have been reintroduced. So, constitution of Bangladesh is almost like constitution of Nepal, where Hindu Rashtra and the word secular is used in the same breath. Because the competing interests have created some sort of an amoeba out of, you know, the constitution. Unlike India, Krishna, where we created our constitution, we had our fundamental rights, and on issues which we could not come to agreement, we placed them in directive principles. Uniform Civil Code of Law, cow protection. Nothing of that sort had happened in Bangladesh. So I would say it's a big if. I really don't have the timing as to when Sheikh Hasina would be returning, who has taken the guarantee, whether the parliament has given the guarantee, or whether the army has taken the guarantee. Those details are not available. But for Sheikh Hasina to return would be a path-breaking development in South Asia.
A path-breaking development in South Asia. Kartikeya, thank you so much for taking time out to be with us here.